a lot of people see my clips and they go, you roast the audience. You destroyed this person. On the contrary.
No, you do it with love.
All love.
All love. I can see
if
it.
I go from the place of hate, I mean, it's never going to be funny.
No.
I play and I tease, and that's what makes that moment so much fun. There is nothing but genuine joy in that connection. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Wild Truth. I have a wonderful guest who's a life coach. She's a doctor of psychology, author, and most importantly, they call her the Love Doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Elena Eustache.
Thank you so much for having me, Max.
Of course, Doc. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm really excited to unfold your past because, researching, I learned more about you than I possibly thought.
That's wonderful.
So I should tell my viewers, I met Elena through a friend of mine. That's why I call her Elena. You should call her Dr. Eustache. And we hung out several times at different parties, and she's so much fun and yet so intelligent. So we've had really great conversations, and I thought this will be a wonderful opportunity to really be able to pick your brain. So I want to dive in first from the start, where you're from. Give us your background a little bit so they get to know, who you are.
So I was born in communism in Czechoslovakia, that today is Czech Republic. And I lived in many different countries. I lived in Holland, Belgium, France. I'm Czech, French, American. I speak 12 languages, but I'm still trying to figure out the language of love. Yeah.
Wow.
That's one thing you don't know about me.
You speak 12 languages,
yes.
But you are still in search of the language of love.
Yes.
Wow.
Nobody has figured that one out
Really?
yet. Mm-hmm.
So that whole book about, the love languages, the love languages.
Five.
Five.
Yeah.
Okay, 5. I have 2 that's Persian.
I want to hear about them.
I added. But you're thinking that book could be helpful, but not quite.
It's a good start.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You speak 12 languages.
Yes.
That's crazy. I mean, do you really speak 12?
I do.
Bullshit in 12 languages. Go.
Okay. N'importe quoi, connerie in French, hovno in Czech, bliať in Russian, prdel in Slovak, Scheiße in German, Hotverdorie in Dutch, Gra, you know which language that's Arabic, Merde, yeah, I mean, it's easy. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'll add Gohegov. That's Persian.
Persian, Gohegov, Azizamara.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So you really speak 12 languages.
When I grew up in Czech Republic, my grandfather spoke 15. And he always told me, if you want to get out of here, you have to learn lots of languages. So that was my way out of the country. And I went to school in Belgium, and I had to learn Dutch in 2 months because the school was in Dutch. And I paid the scholarship and the tuition, and it was not in English. So I had to go after school and study Dutch. And I lived in France and Germany and New York and LA and London, so many different places. So you're just thrown in the environment and you learn it.
Incredible.
Thank you.
I still don't believe you, just so you know.
It's okay. You don't have to. You can ask my friends. You can test me. You can bring different friends, and I will.
God. I will do that.
Do that with
now,
me.
Now, every time we have a party, I'm going to find out what language you speak. Come here.
Come here.
Have a conversation with Elena, see if this is true.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Good for you. You speak Arabic.
Arabic is not in my fluent, but I know lots of words in Arabic because I lived in France and Belgium, and there was a lot of my friends were Arabic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had a lot of Arabic background people that you had to communicate with.
Yes.
And use marda. Whatever. No, that was French.
That was French.
What is it? Okay. Good,
it's in Berber. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's dive into your being born into this family of Czech Republic and your upbringing in that country. How long were you there? When did you migrate, etc.?
I was there for 14 years. And my father is probably one of the funniest person in my whole world. He should be a comedian. If you just follow him for 2 hours, you would have the best feature comedy. So that's where I got my sense of humor, and I love humor, and my grandma was very funny. So I have a big appreciation for laughter.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So you left when you were 14 years old.
Yes.
And where did you migrate to?
I was in Belgium. I was in high school in Belgium. And then at 18, I got married in France and lived a little bit in France and Martinique and traveled and spent a little time in Holland. And then I moved to New York, and from New York to Los Angeles. And
you moved to New York with your husband?
I left him.
I
moved there alone. Yeah.
So how long did your first marriage last?
It lasted 2 years, but he would not divorce me for 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you left. Did you escape?
Yes, I escaped. I
escaped.
completely escaped. It was funny because my friends always ask me, what did he do? And I'm like, it's not what he did. I was just at home ironing underwear, and I had this deja vu moment. I will never iron any man's underwear. I need to get out.
Why would anyone want their underwear ironed?
He wanted me to iron his underwear, and that was the breakthrough moment that I was done. It was the underwear.
It doesn't even make sense. Who irons their underwear?
Yeah, he wanted to. He was OCD, and he wanted me to iron his underwear. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He wanted his underwear
20s,
to be wrinkleless. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know why? I mean, he must have had a very small dick, because he didn't want his dick to be lost within the wrinkles.
Yes. It was funny because he proposed to me in front of 250 people, and I only knew him 3 weeks, so I didn't know what to do. And
you were young.
Yes.
You were 18 years old. You were very young.
Yeah.
And how old was he?
The same age.
18.
Yeah.
So you just two kids that met each other, and you're still not really truly wondering. I mean, I made a joke about the dick joke is not, I didn't mean it, but you never found out why he was obsessed with his underwear being ironed?
No, it was just his thing.
I just find that so crazy. I've never heard of anything like that.
I know.
So he was obsessed with you because you leave to New York, but he doesn't divorce you. He's like he insists on making this work.
He says that if I don't stay married to him, no one else will marry me. So it took 5 years in France to officially get divorced, because you have to wait for the government to divorce you.
What's the next serious relationship?
I was dating the father of my son, and we have a wonderful son. It didn't last very long, but we have an amazing son.
In New York? You were dating him in New York?
In New York, yeah.
How long after you got to New York?
Probably
the next day.
No. Probably a little later. No, probably a
First
year
guy.
later.
Oh, hi. Let's do this. Okay, good for you. Okay, so soon after you started dating him, you got pregnant, and you decided that you want to keep the baby.
Yes.
And today you have an incredible son. That's amazing. You said that relationship didn't last too long.
No.
Okay. And I did the research, and I found out he's a wonderful actor.
Yes.
He was on that series Lost.
Yes.
Can you tell us his name, or you like to keep it a secret?
No, that's okay.
I already called out what show he's on. Guess which one of the cast members has a kid with
His
Elena.
name is Naveen Andrews. He's a wonderful father.
Yeah, and he's a great actor.
Yeah, he's very talented.
Yes, he's one of my actually favorites on that TV show.
Oh.
He's very intense.
Yeah, maybe not in private life, but he's
really.
Yeah.
Oh, in private life he's not as intense, but
no, he's funny.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
So why did that relationship not work out?
I think that sometimes in life we have different priorities, and he was very busy with the show, and it just didn't work out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. How's your relationship with him today?
Very good.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ever got married, or
no?
Never got married.
No, he's never been married.
Okay. He just goes out there and has babies with different people.
No, not necessarily.
Does he have any other kids?
He has one son in England.
There we go. I'm telling you.
Very, very young. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys had the baby at the time, but there was no possibility of marriage. And could you give us, because the reason I'm asking you, because now you're a doctor of psychology, you're a relationship guru, you're an author, you write about this topic, and immediately I take it because you've had such an interesting past. You've learned from a lot of these experiences. You probably psychoanalyzed yourself.
Yes.
You really, took all of these different situations in, and you felt like, now I have a knowledge that I can share with the world.
Yes.
That being said, tell us about this relationship in particular, because you're very young now. You have a kid. You're a single mom, and how challenging was for you to come to terms with this man doesn't want to marry you? How did you guys decide on raising this boy?
I think you have to respect how someone wants to parent your child, and you have to do it your way. And it's a different culture because he's British Indian and I'm Czech and European, so there's definitely different culture. But I feel like every child needs the father figure and every child needs the mother figure. So I'm more like nurturing and letting him do many things, and his dad has more boundaries, but it's good because our son is just excellent. He just turned 18, so time flies.
And he lives here in the United States now?
He lives in Los Angeles, and his dream is to be a politician and be the next president.
Really?
Yeah, since he's very little, so I call him Mr. President already for the past 10 years.
Wow, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Back then, how did you guys decided for you and him to spend time with your son, so your son will have the most balanced relationship with his parents?
Well, you have to work around a schedule of someone also who is in the entertainment, because it's not a career 9 to 5. Sometimes you film for a few months, then you're off, so you just have to be flexible.
But he was involved as much as he could.
Oh yeah, he's an excellent dad. He's very involved. Like Joshua is the love of his life.
Wow,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's incredible. What I like about this story, it sounds like a very healthy scenario, because I come from, my family. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 12, and it's interesting because when my parents got divorced, it was a great thing that happened. I was very happy that my parents decided to separate because the household was not quite in peace, or we had a pretty crazy household prior to the divorce. So it was me. I remember myself going, "Oh, this is great! Finally, we can have peace in the house. Finally, these arguments and fights can just end." And your son never really experienced that.
No, he only saw harmony in both households, and he thinks it's normal, so he never saw us having any argument or disagreement. Thank God.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That says a lot about you as a woman who allowed this to happen this way, because you could have taken a lot of animosity towards this situation. You could have put pressure on him for marriage, for this, for that, and have a lot of requests to make it complicated and difficult. But it seems like instead you were a team player, and you're like, I have a son and I want him to be happy, and I'm willing to compromise in any shape or form for this relationship to work, so my baby can benefit from both parents.
Yes.
That's very mature of you.
Well, my mom was always with me and my dad like that too. They eventually got divorced because my dad is loving, but he drank too much. But she never talked bad about him. She was always loving. He never criticized her. She never criticized him. And even after they got divorced, when we were bigger, there was always harmony. So maybe that helped the transition for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So your parents also, they got divorced.
They got divorced, and it's a funny story because my mom got divorced after 25 years, and my dad used to wait for my mom 2 years in front of her work every day with the flower till she went on a date with him. It was a really cute story. And he's still in love with her, but he partied too much. He's too funny. He just doesn't take life serious. And when she got divorced, she said, I'll never, ever date again. 3 hours later, she went to the store. She came back with a big smile and met the love of her life. And they happily married. Yeah, like Romeo.
3 hours
3
later?
hours. She was single for 3 hours.
What?
Yeah, beautiful story.
She signed the papers. The ink hadn't even dried.
Yes.
She
Went
found
to
a
the
new man.
store, came back with a big smile, and be like, what's going on? Well, I met someone. And they've never been apart.
Wow. How
Yeah.
did your dad feel about that?
He was heartbroken. He never met anybody else. He always talked about my mom like she's the love of her life, but he messed up. He was not there. He was always partying and having fun. He never cheated on my mom. He was just enjoying life like a little kid. And he still does to this day.
Really?
Yeah, his friends are like my age and younger.
Wow.
He's a very young soul. Yeah.
That's incredible. But he never found someone.
He doesn't want to. We would like tell him, Dad, this woman like you. You crazy? She's not your mom. She's older than me. I said, Dad, just 1 year. No, I don't want her. Like, he's very, very funny.
So not even a girlfriend?
No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you ever ask him why or try to dive deep in and see
Well,
what's
he was
happening?
always hoping that my mom leaves her husband and comes back, but that's not going to happen. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. You're a very open person, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Because you're a doctor.
Yeah.
Because you know it's important to share.
Yes.
That's incredible. So are you in a relationship currently?
Not right now at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I know what I want and I don't want to settle for less. I'm in a place in my life where I have a beautiful life. I have a wonderful family. I have a great son. I have great friends. And I want someone that complements my life and also has done work on themselves. I don't want a project.
Okay. But what do you say to people that question you as a specialist, as an expert in relationship, that you're single?
It doesn't matter what people think. I think what's important is to go through the journey in life and know what you're worthy and starting to love yourself. It's not just being in a relationship to be in relationship. I can be in a relationship twice a day. It's not a problem in LA.
Twice a day?
Well,
We're
you
not
get
talking about having sex,
No,
Elena.
no,
We're talking about
but
being in
Ben,
love. You can fall in love twice a day.
No, I can't.
I
But
believe you.
can
Your
be,
mom did. Your mom fell in love, went to the store, found love, came
Yes.
back. She could have broken up with him. A few hours later, go back to the store.
I get asked out all the time, but I know what I want. So, yeah, I'm particular.
Okay, then dive into it. What do you want?
I want someone with emotional intelligence because it's very sexy. Someone who is driven but also funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you describing me?
Maybe.
So
No, but you
describe
definitely
to us.
have the funny.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the emotional intelligence you have too.
I believe so.
Yeah,
I
you do.
believe
You
so.
do. It takes.
Let's talk about emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Could you give a definition?
Emotional intelligence is not something that you can learn from books. There are people that are very educated. They could have a Harvard degree, but they don't have emotional intelligence, especially when it comes to people and connection. And being a stand-up comedian like you cannot do what you do without emotional intelligence. Your PhD in humor and how you connect to people is higher than a degree from Harvard because you have to have a very, very high emotional intelligence. It's very attractive.
Thank you. Now bring her gift. Bring the gift we promised. Oh my God! You nobody has ever spoken to me like this.
Really?
That was probably the highest compliment I've ever received ever.
Oh.
Harvard degree. Fuck yeah. Well, in that case, this was a nice episode. Thank you for watching. We should end on a high note.
Wrap it up.
This is the last episode of Wild Truth. You're so sweet. You're right. A lot of comedians are very observant.
Mm-hmm.
And emotional intelligence, I think it comes from learning who you are and studying yourself and understanding why you feel the way you do and being able to describe your emotions for yourself and recognizing the difference between anger, disappointment, multiple emotions that we experience. So emotional intelligence can come at different times. I don't think as a 13-year-old I was emotionally intelligent. It came a lot later in my life.
It does, but you definitely probably had it as a kid. And I feel like people who are emotionally intelligent are people that also suffer or that experience pain and empathy because it opens their hearts and vulnerability and empathy to a different level that other people don't have.
Okay.
So just like when you look at Tony Robbins and everything he went through his childhood, he doesn't even have a high school degree, but his emotional intelligence is incredible.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's very, very cool. So that's what are the criterias for you
Yes.
in a person that you're going to date?
Yes.
And the second, let's go to the second base.
The second, someone ambitious that has hunger for something that they're passionate about, because you can't be with someone that just has no passion. It's hard. Like there's always a higher purpose in life. So I like men that are driven and that not only do things to make money, but also make the world a better place.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's why you're single.
I know.
You're looking for a catch.
Yes.
What a wonderful man are you looking for?
Thank you.
I can't wait till you tell me you found someone that has met all these criteria. I would be excited to meet this person.
My friend always joked, don't let these three men to meet each other. Right?
Oh,
Because
really?
it's hard to find all in one.
That's true.
But question for you, what is it
Yes.
that you're looking for in a woman that you've never found?
Look, I believe if you want to find someone, you should know what you're looking for.
Yes.
I'm looking for someone that could understand me and my lifestyle and is organically able to adapt. Not that they're trying to or trying to change certain ways they are in order for my lifestyle to fit their lifestyle. I think that's the most challenging part. It has been the most challenging part for me. You know, I'm a touring artist. I have a very complicated lifestyle.
Yeah.
I work a lot. I'm a public figure. There's a lot of pressure. So a lot of people that are attracted to me, when they start getting to know me and they come in the inside, they really realize, maybe this is not so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they need to be equipped, to handle a lot of pressure that comes from being in the spotlight.
Yes.
And that's something that a lot of people don't think about. They see someone and they go, I love this person because of where they at and how the world reacts to them. But that's not always easy.
No.
Right? So that's, I think, the biggest challenge.
I understand.
And then if I go through the list really fast, I'd like a girl that's
the 356
emotionally, yes, emotionally intelligent.
You're looking for it
she's
too?
passionate and she's going to change the world. I mean, what you just said is a beautiful, beautiful characteristics. But I find women that are confident extremely attractive. Women that are successful, that are I'm very attracted to that because I hear a lot of men being intimidated if the person that they want to date is very intelligent, or they have they're a CEO, or they come from a place of power. I find that very attractive. Confidence is very attractive to me. Jealousy is extremely. I look down upon that. I find that a big issue.
Yeah.
Whether it's the man or the woman.
I feel like you don't have jealousy even in your DNA.
I don't.
Yes.
I don't, and I've worked on it, frankly. I think when I do talk about it when I was younger, there were times that I felt insecure and jealous, but I found how that's destructive first for me, then to the person I'm dating. And I have a great story that I talk about my father, how, when I questioned him about my mom, I said, hey, were you ever jealous of my mom? Because my mom said your dad was never jealous. And I was shocked by that. And I asked, Dad, you were never jealous of my mom? Like if somebody came and hit on her, at a party, or if she was flirting with someone. And he just totally just like, shrugged his shoulders, and he's like, what are you talking about? I said, no, I really want to know. And he said, look, if you trust the woman you're with, you should never worry about anything.
Yeah.
And the way he said it, it really resonated with me.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God, if you really trust someone, what is there to worry?
Yeah.
And from then on, my perspective changed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became very excited for the person I'm with to shine, to dress the way she likes. If she wants to be sexy and she wants to, let her be exactly how she wants to be.
Yeah.
And I feel great about it because, I'm with someone that I trust, and I know I have she's with me and there's nothing to worry about. And when you get that feeling from the person you're with, really, truly, there's nothing to be jealous about.
Yeah. And I think it has to do a lot with upbringing. If your parents weren't jealous about each other, my parents were never jealous. Even when my dad left to party, my mom was never jealous. And he never really looked at other women, to this day. So to me, in relationship, jealousy never popped up because I didn't have to see it as a child.
But what do you think about infidelity in relationships in general? I mean, your parents were like that, but what if that's not the case?
It happens, and it happens for many different reasons. Whether someone is insecure, whether someone is really a sex addict, or whether a masculine man dates a masculine woman and then the chemistry died. So there could be many reasons why people cheat, and I don't find it as an excuse. I feel like it's much better to be honest with your partner if you don't want to be faithful or break off the relationship. But I'm not a moralist to judge someone. But there's many different reasons why people cheat. Often it's insecurity.
Often it's insecurity. That's why they cheat. How does that, can you explain?
People like attention, right? And men are more sexual than women, 20 times more than women, at least in their 20s. So their sexual drive is much bigger, and they don't get as much attention and compliments as women. So when they have the opportunity, it's more tempting than a woman. And women don't always cheat sexually. They just like validation. And if as a man, you don't give your woman compliments and you don't give her attention, she may seek it from a friend. And that's cheating too. It's social cheating, but sometimes it's even more painful because you build that emotional bond with someone.
Can you talk to us about sex addict? Can you tell us about someone that's sex addict?
Yes, definitely. I feel like people that have sex very early on, sometimes they molested or they have sex before age 18 or before they're ready, can turn into sex addict, nun, or even a working person in the field because of the trauma. So it's important that people work on it and don't just feed that pain. Because often that happens if you see women that are stripper or guys that are gigolos or guys that are players, something happened to them in their childhood and they were way too young to have sex. And now that pain that triggers in them the trauma is brought to different relationships.
Can
because
you give
they
us
don't
an
know.
example on this pain?
Like if a little girl gets molested and she's not ready to have sex, through that pain, she can now go and look for that pain and have a lot of sex. It's very common.
So they want to experience the pain.
Because that's the only thing they know until they heal themselves. Now, sometimes it can be the opposite. They can completely become antisexual and become a nun or monk. That can happen too. But it's often most sex addict that I've ever seen or talked to had sex way too early in life. It wasn't a sex as a love, as a relationship. It was literally just...
Could there be the opposite? Someone that was very repressed, most of their life. They were like in a very religious household, for example.
That can be true. It's another, and I feel like that happened with Tiger Woods because he was playing golf all his life and discipline, and then it caught up with him later. So it can be that way too. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And how do you help these particular scenario?
Well, you heal the wounds, you heal the pain, and you understand that what they are trying to do is not actually heal, but hurting themselves and the people around them. So it's going back. Everything in life is all about love, loving yourself and then loving others. So when people don't love themselves, that's what they do.
Yeah. Doc, could you tell us about what type of patients do you deal with most? So I kind of understand what's sort of your day-to-day practice.
I deal with a lot of couples, but I would say that 80% of my clients are women because men don't always come to have change. Women are way more open. So a lot of my clients are women, and they want to work on themselves and understand why are their relationship not working, or what they're doing wrong, or why are they picking the wrong partner, or to make their relationship blossom or to date again. So I coach lots of women. And also I feel that when you help a woman to be in her feminine and to be authentic, then whatever relationship she is in, it helps the man to relax in his masculine too.
So you've been helping women for a long time.
Yeah.
With their dating and finding a lover.
Or to stay happily married forever. Or
Okay.
to get married.
Okay. How has dating changed?
Tremendously. I feel like the online dating has given so many options that people are so confused. It's very hard to watch a movie if you watch 30 movies at the same time because you can't focus on anything. So it's becoming really hard because everybody's swiping left and right and nobody's really talking and building intimacy. So relationships are really challenging, especially in big cities where there is even more variety than when you live in some country town. So dating has become very, very difficult these days to find the intimate, profound relationship and for both people to want to make it work.
Okay, so you think dating has become more difficult. Why? Because, in the past, finding someone that you really like, the options were limited. You didn't have a bigger, but
yes,
now.
But you also didn't always think that the grass is greener somewhere else. So you gave it more time. You gave it more work.
Okay.
While today everybody gives up really, really fast.
I see. So that speed and that massive numbers of options, makes you feel like, well, if it doesn't work out with this guy, that's fine. I'll find another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no matter who you're sort of going on a date with, you feel like there's someone better out there.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. What do you suggest with this madness of options? What's the solution?
Well, the solution is first to find out what is it that you truly want. Because if you don't know what you want, you're just there like in a candy tasting everything. So you got to be clear what is it that you're looking for and love yourself enough to give yourself time between relationship instead of having, constantly hook up or makeover when you try to get out of one because you're not healing. The new person is not healing. So I feel like it's really important, even more than for a man, for women, to give themselves time to heal and to understand what is it that they're looking for, what's their worth, and not always settle for less.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people actually don't know what they're looking for.
Yes.
And if they do, a lot of times is what they think they're looking for.
Yeah.
So what is your advice in order to truly find what your needs are in a partner?
Well, I feel like there's always 5 things that every woman needs in a relationship. And for men, too, sometimes it's even more simple for men than 5 things. But you need chemistry. If there's no chemistry, you're not going to have a relationship. So chemistry is important. But the second most important is communication. And there's 3 styles. There's the seduction, sexual, sweet words, tell her whatever she wants to hear. There's the intimidation. If she doesn't do it your way, you get aggressive or passive aggressive, or communication with love. Hey, I want this, you want this, can we dance together? So communication with love is key because seduction and intimidation doesn't work. So everything is about communication. This is what I'm looking for, what you're looking for, and then see if it sits together. And then you need a man that knows how to cherish women's feelings because it's important. Women are very emotional creature. Someone that has the same goal, whether it's date, committed relationship, marriage, you have to have the same goal, and someone that at least has a job or so their finances together. You can't be with the guy who sits on a sofa and smokes pot all day. It's not going to work. So if you have those 5 things, you can build as a woman.
We're living in a society now that success, income is very important. What's the healthy way of dealing with this topic, mainly for women?
Yes. I always say not every wealthy man is healthy. Look for the healthy guy first and then the wealth, because there is many men that are successful for a reason, for the power to be narcissistic and to treat women like candy. So look for the guy that has healthy habits, that has good family values. Make sure he has a good relationship with his mom, because if he doesn't, you should run for the hills. Make sure how he talks about his past relationship. I mean, we all have one bad one, but if all his exes are crazy, it's a red flag. The same for a woman. If all her exes are crazy, that's a red flag. So there are certain things that you have to look at as a pattern.
I love that. How do you see the topic of sugar daddy?
I don't judge anyone because I'm not a moralist, but there's sugar daddies, there's sugar mama. I find it's like a exchange, right? Where people know exactly what they're looking for and they get what they want, but it's not really love. It's exchange. It's a business deal. And I've dealt with many women that bore into sugar daddies, and when I help them to heal their daddy issue, because sometimes they're entitled. Their father never took care of them. They never had anything. So now they're looking for a daddy to replace all that pain and all that entitlement. And when they heal themselves, they finally find love and pick the right partner. So I've healed many gold diggers into being
You've
a
healed
healthy.
many sugar babies.
Yes,
Oh,
many.
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
wonderful. So you help them
To tap
deal-
into their feminine energy again.
Okay.
Because in my book, How to Be Feminine, which is this
yes,
book,
show the book.
and I have a master class
Beautiful.
coming in. I have 7 type of women in there, and 6 are masculine and 1 is feminine.
Wow.
The anchor woman. And one of the masculine women is the gold digger, the sugar babe, because she's masculine. She's not talking and coming from her heart and feelings. It's just, I think I want. So I help her to grow into feminine woman too.
Beautiful, beautiful. So in a nutshell, what is a feminine woman? What is femininity? Is it the emotion and coming from your heart?
It's someone authentic who has boundaries. She's not a doormat, but she's not a bitch. She's respectful. She's not a gold digger because she doesn't mind to give back. There's a balance between giving and receiving. She's respectful and loving and fun and playful, but she has boundaries and will say no if she doesn't want to do something. And she's someone that is not afraid to surrender and take masculine man, healthy masculine man, take charge and lead if he cherishes her feelings.
That's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I love how this is engraved in you. You know this so well. How much of this is presence in your own life?
In my personal life, I even try to bring femininity into my work because women always feel that when they feminine, they are weak, but it's quite the opposite because one of the most iconic women on camera ever was Marilyn Monroe. She was masculine in her private life, but on camera, she was feminine. And that playfulness and that confidence and that girliness is really beautiful. And we feel like if we feminine, we are weak, but it's not true. It's actually powerful because you're authentic, you speak from your heart, and you have boundaries, but you're not afraid to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're missing in this world more femininity.
Yes.
Because women are not built to be masculine 24/7. You cannot be the businesswoman at home with your man. It's just not going to work. There's too much competition. Someone has to be feminine and someone has to be masculine. And if you are the masculine woman, then you need to date a feminine man because there has to be polarity. So I don't judge anyone, but if you want a masculine man, you have to surrender to your feminine.
Yeah, but it sounds like this femininity is a requirement for both sides, because you're speaking about being authentic, being open with your emotions, communicating from that place of vulnerability.
Yeah.
In that case, every man needs to discover their feminine side in order to connect to someone.
Yeah, obviously, we all have both. We all have the masculine and we all have the feminine. It's about balance. At work, we are all masculine. At home, someone has to be more feminine, someone has to be more masculine. But it doesn't mean that man is not entitled to have feelings. It's just you don't want to smother him like a mom constantly. You want to respect his feelings and ask him what he wants to do about it, instead of smother him like a little baby. He has a right to his feelings. It's just how you speak to a man. You got to build him in his greatness instead of criticize him and put him down and not validate his feelings. So there's a difference.
I just want to correct you, because at work, I'm very feminine. I constantly I'm crying and expressing my feelings and telling how
But do you
hard
know,
the world is.
as an artist, as a stand-up comedian, you have to be in your feelings in order to connect to your audience.
Yes.
That's the only way you're going to connect. So your job, actually, male men that are comedians or actors or entertainers have to be more in their feminine to connect to the audience. Female women that are entertainers have to get a little bit in their masculine, because if they're always emotional, nothing gets done. So that's why this city of entertainment sometimes confuse the feminine and masculine, because sometimes people don't know which energy to bring home.
Interesting. Well, in that case, I never knew these titles,
Yes.
right? But absolutely, every time I'm vulnerable and I'm expressing my feelings and I'm being articulate about it, I feel the strongest, and I feel more of a powerful man in that situation. I feel more proud of myself as a man, that I'm able to express and be open and be vulnerable.
Because you're an alpha.
So an alpha.
Alpha man is 40% feminine and 60 masculine. Beta man is 10% feminine, 90 masculine. And there is nothing better than a healthy alpha, but there is nothing worse than toxic alpha.
Okay, what's a toxic alpha?
Toxic alpha is someone that doesn't know how to deal with their feelings and with their masculinity, and they usually do an abuse of drugs or drinking. So someone very talented like Jimi Hendrix, or, people that have a lot of gifts and talents, but they just can't handle both. They don't understand how to juggle the feminine and masculine energy. You're an example of healthy alpha, because you don't drink, you're super clean, you're super focused, you know how to switch from feminine to masculine. But it takes so much work to be a healthy alpha.
Beautiful. Did you hear it? You heard it right here on Wild Truth from Dr. Elena Eustache. I am a very healthy, masculine, feminine, everything. Alpha, baby.
Yes.
Alpha. I give you whatever you want. Feminine, masculine, just ask me. 40%, 60%, bring it, baby. Then why am I single, Elena?
Because you're conscious alpha, and that's like 1% of population, because you've done so much work on yourself. So you don't settle for less, because you know how long it took you where you at. So you're looking for that wonderful complementary, possibly alpha woman, healthy alpha, conscious alpha next to you.
You're the first person that gets me.
Thank you.
I'm dead serious. And it sounds conceited, because the way, but when people ask me, I want to say this, but I almost feel like I could never say that.
But it's true.
It is true.
Yes.
I'm going to carry this little, I'm going to cut this, make it a clip, put it in my phone, save it. And anywhere people ask me, why are you single? I play this video and I go, here, she said it best. Watch here. Yeah?
Yeah.
I love it. So since we're on this topic, I love to understand astrology from your perspective. How much do you believe that the star signs and the whole philosophy of different signs actually is true when it comes to authentic connections between people, matching?
Well, there is always a history, and stars and numerology and all these things have been around for centuries. But I feel like it has to do with your culture and upbringing and how much you work on yourself. Because you could be the perfect sign, but if you come from toxic background and you feel like a victim and you feel like a victor and you work on yourself, it's just not going to work, because the fact of saying like you complete me is not true. If someone is broken and you're broken, together you break each other more. You don't complete each other. If someone is whole and the other person is broken, they may break you too. It takes two people to work on each other to complete each other. So sign is not enough. Astrology is not enough. It's to be responsible, because happiness is progress. How often? Every single day. People wake up and they think they're just going to be somehow happy. Successful people work on their happiness every single day.
Happiness is something you work on it every day.
It's a progress.
Absolutely true. Happiness is something you work on every day.
Yeah.
Working out is part of your health,
Yes.
which it makes you happy.
Yeah.
Meditation is part of your spiritual practice that could keep you happy.
Yeah.
Having an organized life, respecting other people, not breaking the law that puts you in a problem, that keeps you in a happy life. You're so right, and I love the way you put that, because we have to work hard in order to have a healthy life.
Yes.
That completely makes sense.
Love is a decision. It's not a feeling. And you have to decide to work on yourself, to love yourself, to be your word, and to be committed. And if you don't love yourself, you're going to bring that pain and chaos into someone else's life that's working hard on themselves, and it's not fair.
Yes, I think I work hard every day to be happy or be content or be healthy, whatever is the easier word to digest there. But I also think life experience has a lot to do with it.
Yes.
Because at different stages of life, I feel like I learned something that I'm like, I'm doing this thing wrong, or my perspective needs to change in order for me to have a better life, better days. And for example, recently I'm extremely aware of balance.
Mm-hmm.
I've realized my life needs to become more balanced in the different departments in order for me to feel better.
Yes.
So if it's imbalanced, meaning my work is so heavy, then other aspects of life is going to suffer.
Yeah.
And so I'm really working on this. So to all my fans, if you see me not coming to your city nearby, if I'm not traveling to those places that I used to, because I want to be happy. I don't give a shit about making you laugh and making you happy. I need to be happy first. Self-love. Yeah?
Yes. And you have to give yourself and charge yourself in order to give love.
Yeah. Let me charge myself, and then I'll come to your city. Yeah? Let me charge, for God's sake. I can't be there all the time, every year. Now I'll come every 5 years. Buy my tickets, because you're not going to see me for 5 years. It's the best commercial for my shows.
Yeah, and also as you practice on it more and more, you get faster in it and better in it. And your healthy routines should be non-negotiable with anyone. It's something that you need in order to achieve your success. And the first thing starts loving yourself and your happiness. And it was funny because when my son was little, I said, honey, health is wealth. And he was like 5, and he said, Mommy, it's not true. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, happiness is. If you're not happy, you're not healthy. Did you see people that are unhappy and then they turn sick? You have to be happy. So he was a kid and he already knew.
That's so beautiful. Yeah. Does he ever come to you with relationship issues?
He does. And it's nice. But I have to be careful that it's his idea, but he does. And he went, it was very cute. He went through a breakup, and unfortunately the girl cheated on him, and they were together for 1.5 years. And they were in school, in the same school, and she tried to come to him and tell him, I still love you. And he just stood up and he said, you don't know what love means. And he turned around and walked away. And I was so proud of him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so nice.
Yeah.
You said something that I think is very healthy. You said, when my son comes to me with a problem, I try to let it be his idea, meaning you want him to figure it out on his own. Right?
Also his idea to come to me. I don't want to be the one constantly like chasing him. Like, I want him to feel free to tell me things.
Okay. Because culturally, from where I come from, the mothers They go in and to dig in all day, every day.
I know the Persian
trying
culture. My best friend is Persian.
to
So I
save
know.
their kids. Tell me more. What is he like? What is she like? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right. You should allow the kids to come to you when they're ready and
Yeah.
they're open and receptive. I mean, that's a beautiful thing.
My mom never, ever interfered with anything in my life. She always let me do whatever I wanted, and my dad too. And they've never criticized me once in life. And I think that's how I got my confidence, because my dad compliments me to this day. And I just want to have that freedom for my son. You know, it's important that he needs to figure things out and come to me for help instead of me constantly poking at him.
So you guys really gave each other a lot of space.
Yes, we're very close, but I also let him think for himself, and he likes to speak for hours. I let him be masculine and carry the conversation and don't interfere him, because it's important that he can make his own decision. And ever since he was a baby, I always gave him choices, not just one thing to do, so he could think for himself. Well, I have a choice. I could do this, so I could do that. Because it's important for men to think and make their own choices.
Yeah,
he feels
that's very
masculine.
beautiful. But honestly, it's a very difficult topic for me to understand. Meaning, I don't understand how that environment is created for kids. I'm being
Yeah.
super honest. Like, how much is your responsibility to ask and make sure?
Of course, if you
know?
sense something is off, you should always ask. It's very important to have open communication with your child, but you also need them to think for themselves. So asking questions and have them come up with their own answer, and giving kids choices. Because once they turn 10 years old, they will have to make decisions in their lives. So you can't smother your son or your daughter. You have to give them choices, and then they're still your choices. It's not like they're theirs, but by giving them choices, they can start to think for themselves.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
It ultimately is having a healthy environment
Yeah,
while they're growing up.
yeah,
So there's a balance between, holding so much in, holding back so much, and coming in and trusting the parents to express. I
yeah.
mean, you gotta trust your parents, that going to your parents is going to ultimately be a pleasant experience,
Yeah.
and I will have a better outcome sharing with them than trying to figure this out on my own.
Yeah, and one thing that's really important, you never want to make someone feel like they're bad. I always tell my son, you're awesome, you're great, you're 99% of the time fantastic. You just had a bad moment. Let's work on the moment. So he know he is a good boy. He just had a bad moment, and we all do.
Yeah. That's really beautiful. You don't make him feel like he's a bad person, or
No,
he
never.
did something terrible, or he's not good enough.
No, and I always tell him it doesn't matter what you do. I will always love you the same. That will never change. You are a good boy, but you're going to have a bad moment, and it's okay. We'll work it through.
That's human.
Mm-hmm.
And the bad moment means you just stab somebody in the chest. We'll work on that. And next time.
No, that's not going to happen. He's very nice.
I'm
but
kidding. I'm totally
yeah.
joking. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You're absolutely right. I mean, that's a really beautiful parenting, to make your kids feel like you see them in a very positive light.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very natural for all children to want to gain their parents' approval.
Mm-hmm.
They want their parents to be proud of them. And from a young age, we're worried that if they find out X, Y, and Z went wrong, they'll be upset and it'll hurt their feelings. Because it does. But to be able to create an environment that they're able to come to you is really important. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
That you make them understand that, no, you're not a bad person. You had a bad experience. You had a bad moment.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I think after talking to you on this podcast, I'm ready to have kids.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Wow.
Now, I feel like I learned everything I need to learn about parenting
He's so sweet.
in one session. You're very lovely, Elena.
Thank
You're
you.
really, you have a very grounded, calm, yet a rich, rich presence. You express so much information with such an ease.
Thank
I
you.
love that. I'd like to ask you about your stand-up comedy
Okay.
experience. It was surprising to me to learn that you have done stand-up comedy.
Yes.
And because since I was very young, I got into this world of comedy and stand-up and acting and producing and directing, and I understand the psyche of it so well.
Yes.
And I'm curious, what inspired you to say, I want to go on stage and perform for people?
Well, my dad always told me, don't be afraid of anything or you can go to the woods. He tells me that every single day. I don't know what that means. And I was always thinking, what is the most scariest thing that I could do to overcome any fear on planet Earth? And stand-up comedy is one of them, especially when English is like your eighth language. I had to take lots of Shakespeare classes because when I came to America, my English was so bad. And I'm like, how am I going to speed up to sound sophisticated? So I took 4 years of Shakespeare, and that really helped.
How did that help? It's not even English.
I know, but it just like gives you so much difficult words and grammar that anything else is so easy to understand.
Good for you.
And sometimes you throw it in and you sound sophisticated.
Wow.
So that's where I thought I'm going to try stand-up comedy. And I took classes on Caroline's on Broadway for 6 months. And I started at Caroline's on Broadway. And I've done many clubs in US. And it was fun experience. It's great. I love stand-up comedy. It's just that the lifestyle for me as a mom was really hard.
Yes.
Because it's late hours and late in the night, and I don't drink and I don't smoke, and I don't want to go on the stage at 12 or 1 o'clock and then be in the morning. But I love stand-up comedy. It's like, because I grew up in a humor and my dad is walking stand-up comedy. Everything he says is rhyming from his mouth. And I appreciate laughter. It was just really lots of fun. And I think I'm going to do it again, maybe do like healthy relationship routines. But when I do public speaking or when I'm with clients, my two love languages is love and laughter, and always have been.
Wow. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
How were you as a comedian?
Actually, I was not bad. I was really good because I take it so serious. I will not go on a stage until I prepare for a month or two, everywhere, up and down, left and right. So I know it so well. So it gives you spontaneity to do something different if something doesn't work. So stand-up comedy may sound easier, but if you're not prepared, do not even go on a stage for 1 second. I take it so seriously. I will not do any routine unless I'm over-prepared.
That's lovely. That's
yeah.
amazing. And you talked about things that you're very, comfortable with, and you're very informed in, right?
Yeah.
So you talked about relationships, and okay, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful. How long did you do it for?
Quite a while. It was like on and off, maybe like 5-6 years.
Oh wow, you did it for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when did you start?
I think it was like 2005, maybe 2004, and then did it for a little bit. And
your son was very young at that age.
Yeah, and I always done like good clubs because I would take it seriously. So when I went on the stage, I was really prepared, and it looked like I did it for a long time. But I took a little break from it, and I have so much appreciation from stand-up comedy. And I think you're one of the funniest comedian of this time because you're clever, funny, and you can make laugh anybody. Whether they intelligent, whether they are regular worker, whether they president, you just know how to. And the way you work crowd that's another level. I can't do that. That's a gift on its own. That's a PhD on its own.
You're so sweet.
Because you do it with love. There's a lot of comedians that are bitter and come from a lot of pain.
Yes.
But you come from love, and that's
Now
beautiful.
that you say that, I'm going to read this for you.
Okay.
I have comedy notes in my phone, right?
Yeah.
It says comedy notes. So if anything that comes to my mind, I write in this little note.
Sure.
And I say, okay, this is a topic I want to talk about. But top of the note, it says what I like to think before I go on stage. And I'm going to read this to you.
Yeah.
I'm a healer. I'm a lover. That's the first line.
Yes.
People are so excited to see me. I'm so loving. honest, enthusiastic. Tell your story and focus on the story. The reason I put this here, in comedy, you have a story that you tell to many different audiences. And fifth time you're telling the same story, you don't have that authenticity, enthusiasm, and the focus you had on how the story goes in comparison to the first time you said the story.
Yeah.
So that's what that means.
Yes.
Now this is the best part. The funniest is when I'm positive and kind.
Yes.
Now, the fact that you said that, it's important, and a lot of people see my clips and they go, "You roast the audience. You destroyed this person." On the contrary,
No, you do it with love.
All love.
All love. I can see it.
If I go from the place of hate, it's never going to be funny.
No.
I play and I tease, and that's what makes that moment so much fun. There's nothing but genuine joy in that connection.
Yeah. And whenever you feel that someone is sensitive, you take the joke straight on you.
Yes, of course.
See it, yeah.
If you can't joke with yourself,
yeah.
especially on stage,
yeah.
then you're not even a comedian.
Yeah.
Right? Comics have a great sense of humor, and they very easily can self-deprecate.
Yeah.
And have fun with it.
Yes.
There's no. I think that's a given.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so wonderful. I didn't know you. I thought you just tried stand-up. And it was just a little, thing that you did. But you actually did it for a good amount of time.
And I took it serious. I spent 6 months before I did
Wow.
my first routine to study. Because there is an art of how to do line, punchline, how to deliver something, how to make the audience fall in love with you and give them the unconditional love. Yeah.
Well, I like to play one of your favorite jokes on this podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll just, cut one of your bits and we play it in this piece.
Okay.
That'd be wonderful.
I did learn that the marriage proposal is the highest compliment. It is also the last one. I have to say that my husband has always been there for me through difficult situations, which I never would have been in if I hadn't been married to him. So basically, he was absolutely no help at all.
And hopefully I get to see you perform stand-up live.
Okay.
I'll come and I'll bring a date that I feel like there's something very serious there.
Okay.
And we say, not only we're going to laugh, we're going to learn how to make this work.
Sounds great. It's a deal.
Any advice do you have or anything you want to mention before we wrap?
I guess always, whoever is watching, everything in life we do is for one reason only. All the success, all the career, all the drive is for love. But it has to start with you.
I cannot agree with you more. That's my life philosophy. I really love that. I just want to sincerely thank you because this episode went by so fast for me.
Yeah.
And it felt not only fun, but I truly learned a lot from you.
Oh, thank you. Me too.
And I would love for you to tell our listeners how to find you. So if they need to, if this episode resonated with them,
yes,
they can come and find you and work with you and improve in whatever directions in life that they like to.
Yeah, so
grow.
you can go on Dr. Elena Eustache on Instagram, TikTok, my website. And I have a masterclass coming for women. It's called How to Be Feminine. And it's going to be on my platforms, but also on the mastermind from Tony Robbins.
Beautiful, beautiful. We will share your link because your last name is impossible to spell. You said it so fast,
like mustache.
Yes, but the spelling of it is not
Eustache. Eustache, like mustache.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I won't forget the alpha, feminine, phenomenal.
1%.
Compliment that you gave me. I love
Conscious alpha.
Thank you again.
Thank you.